Gina DeLuca here. All right, well, I'm feeling a little more like a human being again. A little less narcoleptic after my bout with the Rona. Still have a little bit of a sinus thing going on. Do still need to take a nap during the day, but it's not napping most of the day. So, that's a win. What I'm doing today, I'm doing straight pour. My favorite. Using a different combo of colors than usual. What we have. I have Liquitex Basics in Dioxazine Purple. That is going to be my base coat / background color. And then this color here is a mixture of the Dioxazine Purple and the Decoart Americana Decor Satin Enamel in pure white. So I add it's about 50-50-ish of the satin enamel and the purple. The satin enamel is a wonderful cell maker, and you can add colors to it. You don't have to just add white to it. You don't want to use the satin enamel by itself because it can crack. You want to add another kind of paint to it. Some people use the Artist Loft. Some folks use the basic titanium white for the white, but it doesn't have to be white. You can add any color to it, and you can get yourself, you know, a pretty cell maker. And I have the Decoart Americana Decor Metallics in 24 karat gold and in copper. So we're going to see how this turns out. The consistency that we're working with, it's about a 2 on my consistency scale. It does make a mound, but it disappears pretty quickly. And it makes a nice, thin, even stream off of the stick. And that's what's happening there, and that is mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. That mixture is then thinned with my concoction of 90% water and 10% Floetrol. So I mix the Floetrol and the paint, and then I add my thinning juice, which is the Floetrol and water. Yeah, so that's what we're working with today. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards. Each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube that gives you all of the information that you need, the exact colors and recipe, consistency, all of that stuff, and of course the how to do it. And then this is a picture of the painting in that video. This box here contains a tip for that particular technique. And here at the bottom, we have the color palette that was used in that painting. And then these 2 boxes can be used together as the basis of a 2-color palette. And we also have 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one has 5 color palettes. Use all of the colors or just some of the colors. Mix and match the bonus color palette cards with the technique cards, and you have more combinations than you could ever paint in a lifetime. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and also over at amazon.com. And if you get them on Amazon, please do leave feedback. It is very helpful to the sellers. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is, put some paint in my cup. I like to make sure that I have enough for my pour. I have accidentally put too much on the canvas and then wound up short for my cup. We don't want that. So this just kind of ensures that doesn't happen. I do try to reserve a little bit in the cup to put on top of my pour cup. You will see I have already covered my sides. The reason that I do that is because the way that I mix a straight pour, it's pretty thin, especially when it's mixed with Floetrol. It can wind up becoming kind of sheer on the sides. So if I cover my edges first, it is not something I have to worry about. If I do not cover my edges and then the canvas starts showing through, then I have to touch it up later. And I would rather take the 3 minutes that it takes to put it on the sides ahead of time than to take the potential hour that it would take to touch up the sides where it doesn't look like it was something of an afterthought, or trying to not mess up some of the cool things that may have happened on the sides. It's just better to just be proactive. So what I'm putting on now is my base coat. The reason I do that is so that the poured paints can slide around more easily on the canvas. It helps to maintain the composition a little better. Something has to stick to the canvas first. And if it's not your base coat, it's going to be your poured paint. And what if something ultra cool happens on the edge of your pour? Well, what happens then is the paints that are in the center of your poured puddle wind up rolling over top of the edges. We don't want that. Okay, busting out old Bernie 2 times, living up to his name. Popping the bubbles. If you do not pop the bubbles in your base coat, they will come up through your pour. That is why my base coat is the same color as my background. The background is the first color that goes in my straight pour cup. I call it the background because the other paints make cells and come up through this color, and so it appears this color becomes the background, the cells are the foreground, and that's how that got named that. Always be sure to check your consistency before putting it in your cup. The sauce may thicken upon standing. Looking good. I'm going to pour from up high. I want this to sink. Pouring it from up high kind of gives it a little bit more weight, that little added velocity helps it to sink. It wants to come to the top to make cells. Okay, again, pouring from up high, doing the gold now. And typically what happens is the last paint that I put in, the last cell maker, I should say, usually there will be a little bit that ends up in the bottom of the cup. And so I always want to keep that in mind because that's going to end up in the very, very center. And I want it to be copper this time because I love the contrast of purple and copper. Up high. And you can see all of the purple that was mixed with the satin enamel is coming back to the top. And that is why I reserve some of my base coat color and background color. And I just drizzle that on top so my cell makers have that to react with. If it doesn't have a paint to react with, it can't make cells. So And that's why I do it this way. And now it will have the opportunity to react with that purple to make the cells. Okay. That should work. And I'm going to do this spinning spiral thing. I really like how they've been turning out. And I'm going to pour faster but spin slower. I don't want a lot of rings. And if I do fewer rings, it kind of gives more of that spiral effect. Otherwise, it just winds up looking like a ring pour. Not a bad thing, just not what I'm going for. And as I get closer to the end of the cup, I will get closer to the canvas. And I'm gonna hang tight until that copper comes out. And it's coming. There we go. So even though I may wind up spinning a lot of this copper off, I'll still have it in the center. Okay, that was a pretty darn good dismount. I'm not complaining. Popping the bubbles. This technique does create a lot of bubbles. So what happens when we get the bubbles in the layers underneath? So what is causing these cells, let's start there. What is causing these cells is a hydrophobic effect. The Decoart paints are matte. Even though it says satin, they dry very matte, especially in comparison to the purple. And when you have the bubbles coming up from the layers that are underneath, it is bringing some paint with it. And so what happens is it'll bring up some of those cell makers, and it'll look like a little pin cell, little like pinhead, and then it'll actually grow because it's pushing away the other paint. In a straight pour, especially if you're going for Boulder cells, patience is most certainly a virtue. Because if I allow these cells to come up now, I can stretch them out and get a very cool 3D effect going. If I were to do it right away, I will still get cells, but they will likely be what people call pearl cells. I call them pop-up cells. because they pop up after you walk away from the painting. All right, got a nice spiral going there. Really happy with that center. I've only tried this technique on round canvases. Don't know how this is going to work out for the corners. I guess we'll find out. All right, let me give this another pop. This technique creates a whole lot of bubbles. Another thing, I do not torch these satin enamel paints after I tilt or stretch in this case. I do find that has the potential to lead to cracking, in my experience anyway. The only time I've ever had it crack is when I torched after it was already stretched. Okay, I think I'm ready. And the reason I keep turning this is because you can see this has a bit of wobble to it, my spinner, and my work surface isn't exactly level. The canvas is leveled to the table, not to the spinner. So I have to keep it moving or it's going to kind of shift to one side. All right, now regarding using the spinner, it doesn't have to be fast. It really doesn't. It will get there. It will get there. Nah, I don't know about the corners, but the rest of it, it'll get there. You know, the centrifugal force is still doing what it does. You know, spinning slower gives you more control. It also keeps your paint from flinging onto your walls, which I know my landlord appreciates. Big money, no whammies. The way this thing sounds reminds me of like going to the carnival, trying to win plants. I was always at the plant stand. Spend $30 trying to win a plant that I could, you know, go to Walmart and get for 10. It's the thrill. It's the thrill though. Okay, well, I'm getting there. It's getting to the corners. And my center is still looking perfect, which is why I wanted to do this on the spinner as opposed to tilting. How we doing? All right, still need some more. I feel like these other corners might need a little bit of help. I I feel like that corner just needed a bit more juice. And this one. I'm still gonna spin it, but I'm just gonna give it as much help as I can. Coming off of those sides. Okay, more spinning. Okay, well, those corners are looking better anyway. One more spin. That'll be it. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm doing. I feel like this got off center a little bit when I had to walk away to go answer the door, begrudgingly. I would not have answered, except I never know if it's a neighbor emergency or something. I have some elderly folks next door. Okay, so I'm going to take this off of the spinner because it is not leveled to the spinner. Figure out, of course, it's going to be the complete opposite way. There we go. Okay. Just try to adjust the center just a hair. All right, that's it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I love what is going on in the center. It's really pretty. The combination of the gold and the copper and the purple look really pretty together. I ain't mad. I ain't mad at it. All right, I'm gonna let this sit and do what it's gonna do, and I will bring you in for a close-up in a few. Okay, here it is. Really, really pretty. Awesome 3D action going on there. one of those Cell Makers blend, especially the metallics. It really is magical. Look at that. Look at it glow. Look at that center glow. I am a Decoart affiliate, so if you are interested in trying out these paints, check out the description box below for the coupon code to get yourself 20% off these magical cell making paints. I'm also an affiliate for several other companies, including Amazon and Color Art, Arteza, Blick, and more coming down the pike. I have a couple more affiliates that I'm going to be working with, and I will be announcing those very soon. Super exciting. I just love this. I just love it. Love it. Love the center. Yeah, so check out those descriptions, or the affiliate links in the description box, and you can get yourself some coupons. And also help a sister out, because I will receive a small commission at no additional cost to you from anything that you buy when you use those links to enter the website. Are you buying a washing machine from Amazon? Use my link. Also in the description box, you will find the link to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. Oh my goodness. Every time I get to that center, it just takes my breath away. And you will find the link to our Facebook group, Go Make Some Art. Join us there. Post your masterpieces. Ask your questions. Get some inspiration. A good time is had by most. That is the internet after all. Look how that, like those gold cells are just glowing against those other paints. I am not mad at this piece. No siree, Bob. Well, I guess that's it for me for today. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Now, go make some art.